What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Double Doors podcast. We are actually really finally getting fully consistent on this. It's nice. It's
About time.
it's good. You know, we literally we did it somewhat sporadically, and then we had like this and that coming up, and we just never really found the time. But it looks like we've actually really got it together now, which is good. And it's going to be kind of funny since there's probably going to be a 2-week delay or something, unless Lucas and I can figure out what the hell we're gonna do down in Rio. But anyways, I'm Ryan at Dust 2. Over here, I've got Liam Slevin, Dust 2 senior writer extraordinaire. We've got the second major of 2022 already. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about it. Some of it feels like it's been taking so long to get to it. Some of it feels like I don't feel the hype as much. I don't know. Like, I have a lot of weird emotions before I fly down on Saturday.
Yeah, it's mental to think how fast this major's come around. Like, it feels like just yesterday we were all over in Antwerp, and it was a real shock to the system with all of us being in the same place, everyone trying to get their interviews done. It was chaos, but it was really enjoyable, and it's crazy to think that we're already on the second one of the year now. But one thing I'd say is, like, I kind of feel where you're coming from on the, like, oh, am I hyped or not? Like, it's so soon, because like when I went to Sweden, I was like, no hype whatsoever. On the plane, no hype. And then I got there, I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad to be back at an event. Like, it just doesn't hit you until you actually get there in person.
Yeah.
But I think the only big letdown that we've had so far with this upcoming major is the fact that we don't have Ryan Friend on a train in Rio. Why are you not plastered to the train, man?
I don't know. I wasn't plastered. It felt very insulting. I felt like, ESL should have put me on there, given my cult status with all the Brazilians. It would have been good little sneak peek. I just don't think that they had the rights to my images. That's owned by HLTV, so they would have had to do a little bit of negotiation there. So we gonna see.
Yeah, I'm good buddies with Nova H, the guy that designed the train. So I'm gonna get him to do. So I think they might be doing something with like the Christ the Redeemer. So we could probably get your face up there.
Ooh, that'd be good.
It's sacrilegious, but
you know, I am the second coming of North American journalism, Jesus. So it might work.
It's sacrilegious, but that's how we get down on the NACS podcast.
Oh my God! Well, it's gonna be a lot. I've started the packing process already, so I had to order more necessities. So I ordered a lot more socks. Had to order like more underwear because I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be down there for 2 weeks. Like, you need 2 weeks of stuff, and I don't want to deal with like having to like wash clothes because I mean, you know it. You're at the event. You literally walk in at like 10 a.m. You're not leaving till like 11 at night, and even then it's like, okay, we've got to stay up and we have to get these interviews out, we have to do XYZ. It's just it's tough, it's miserable.
Yeah, I was lucky with Cologne for the 2 weeks because we had the 4-day break, but I went into town on like as like a zombie on the first day I had off to just go buy more like socks and stuff because I just didn't bring enough. Because you don't think about it, but I was walking around. Anyone who's seen me in Cologne just seen like this ginger ghost floating by to go get socks. But do you have your swimming trunks packed? Because
yes, I do.
Former writer David forgot his for Sweden, and he was so jealous. Cause I looked up the hotel.
Wait, was there a pool?
There was a pool.
What
there was a
the
pool.
heck?
I got up bright and early to go to the pool.
I booked a pool.
Yeah.
Oh God.
We know that we don't let you choose the hotel.
Yeah, no, they don't let me choose the hotel. They tell me where to go. HLTV is like, hey, we're all going to this hotel. Just book there, and I have to do my own separate thing because we're like, for anyone that doesn't know, like, we're the only U.S. based, like, actually someone lives here full time in the U.S. Like, there has never been an HLTV employee that's like worked full time and lived in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, I was the first one. Like, Note lived in Canada. Note lives in Canada, so he doesn't like. So
he doesn't
when we joined the company, there's a whole different thing and stuff like that. So I have to book things through an entirely separate portal through all that stuff. So it's always fun and complicated. But
a little bit of insight into the background that goes on here.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I know that we have a pool at the hotel, and I imagine that I'm probably going to go to the Copacabana beach and like Brock's going to just like take me around. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited for our days off. I gotta hike the Christ the Redeemer. That is the absolute one thing I have to.
Yeah,
I have to. But speaking of preparing, we've also actually I've got like the equipment over here. So I've got some mics. We got 2 mics, which is going to be exciting. So I bought these things. So got the custom stickers on that. I'm still deciding on what to do with this one. I'm thinking, I don't know. Which one do you like more? Do you like it when it's all the same? Do you like this sticker more? Like you know,
Uh,
I'm curious to see what we have.
you know what? We'll let the fans decide when they
The
watch our amazing
fans.
interviews on the YouTube channel that people need to check out.
YouTube.com. Oh, we get it. We do get a custom tag soon. YouTube's updating
About
that.
yeah, about time that hey
I-
Kinder interview popped, that nap interview popped, the frag ones where the kid was taller than you.
no,
No,
it
but
was.
at least we don't have to deal with the NA mic that I was working with over in
Yeah. No,
Cologne.
no, we'll
That's
get the
good.
good stuff. So I just have to I have to figure it all out. I picked it all up yesterday, so that was a nice little expense that we've got sorted out there. All right, so yeah, so there we go. But at the major, there's going to be a lot of interviews, and I've already spoken to a few players, and I've already been like, hey, I'm interviewing you. Number one on my list is Hexed. So Hexed has to be number one on my list, and the only reason is not because he's been like just popping off for EG and is really exciting and obviously an A player, but he was actually the first interview I ever did with Dust 2. And we did
All
it
right.
he was the first one at the first frag back at frag 16. He was literally the first guy that I like pulled off and I was like, I need to interview. Like, we have to do this. And it's kind of crazy to see, like, I watched back our old the video of it, and we're talking like, he's like, yeah, there's some orgs that are interested in us. Like, we're having to deal with it and talking about it. And like, we're just talking about like the team and the things. And now I'm just like, now you are like one of the best players in North America. Like, everyone's seen this meteoric rise. You've been tremendous. Obviously, a great decision that's worked out for EG to take you over Masuta. Like, you know, it's great. And I just think it'd be funny to kind of take it full circle and be like, hey, harking back to our Frag 16 interview when you were unemployed and not with a major tier one organization, what was it like? So I think that'll be fun to kind of
Frag
do.
16, that event from like 5 years ago. That's how long ago it feels
Oh
since
God,
Frag 16.
dude, it genuinely feels so long ago. Like, it actually feels like forever ago. I've been doing this for 7-8 months, and I'm like, oh,
It's
I feel
mental.
like I've aged 4 years. I think I've aged longer doing esports journalism than I actually did working in
Anything
finance.
to do with finance, yeah.
When I would like work like really, really long hours, here I'm just like mentally like every day banging my head into a wall. Just like, what am I doing?
I did 6 weeks in a law firm, and I think doing the frag coverage late at night and that damn live blog that we had to keep changing. I think that took more
We
years off my
never
life than
did.
yeah.
We never did
We
something
never
like
did
that
it
again.
again. Oh, but
That was genuinely brutal.
it's so
Um,
funny. But
oh,
with
there's
Hex as well, you've got to
yeah,
ask him about the bakery.
bakery.
Pr Prof from HLTV can attest to it about the bakery.
What
So
bakery?
when they qualify, this is Vorborg has his stories about Hex. Me and Prof had one.
Oh
So
God.
when they were in their 2-0 game, when they were about to win, we all went over to get the shots of them like celebrating and stuff.
Yeah.
And uh, they all jumped up, started cheering, going crazy. And then Hex is like, "I'm in a damn bakery." And then me and Prof looked at each other. We were like, "What's that about?" Hmm. And then we went outside, and I was talking to Breeze, and I was like, "What's the whole thing with the bakery?" He's like, "Think about it. What's made in a bakery? Bread. Think about what that man's been making. All that
I
bread.
fucking hate this
I love
kid.
it. You have to ask him.
I hate this kid
Bring it up.
so much. It's so
The
awful.
first thing he said after qualifying for a major. It's amazing.
Well, Rio's gonna be like really interesting though. I'm really excited. So for the first time, we're gonna have every stage in front of a live audience. So obviously that hits me in a little bit of an interesting challenge here because like I'm now gonna have screaming fans everywhere, which is gonna be a lot. And before at the last majors, all we did was we just pulled the people out. And like, I know
Mm,
every TO has it differently, but I think ESL is going to be a lot more structured, especially with like teams going on stage and they have to like set up and do this whole venue. It's gonna be a lot, and I think it'll be really really interesting to see how they handle it.
yeah.
I
ESL were very
fear,
structured even without a crowd. Like when I was at
yeah,
Cologne, when we were at the Ormore, like pretty much everyone was like, you have to go through the TO, and then there's Messioso who's like, no, you come to me. You come to me.
yeah, yeah, which I think is what it's. I think it's what it's going to be like for most of our like for Liquid and EG and maybe some of the Brazilian teams just to be like, hey, I want to talk to you. Like, we know you guys. Like, we're close. We're your region's media. Like, we're gonna do it. We're not just like some
Yeah,
random people who covers you constantly. Um, so I think that'll be interesting. I would love to. I think some of the people that I really love to talk to, obviously, going to be Cold Zero, like number one. Like he's done it so long. He's done the legacy. He's done everything. I want to do him and Try. Try has always been a very fascinating player. I think him and like the evolution on the 0-0 Nation team, it's super cool. And like,
yeah.
what's it like to do where he's at? And I think those are like the top ones elsewhere in the Brazilians. And then we've got like all the 9Z guys. They're always like super passionate and like crazy.
Coach Pino.
Uh, you know, it'll be good to see what's going on there. But yeah, and then there's supposed to be, even in Brazil, there's supposed to be the Gauls like fan fest. Have you
Yeah.
like read more into this? Because I honestly think it's such a smart idea.
See, I don't know what level it's gonna kind of be at because I know when I was at Cologne for the arena days, they have like these different pop-up tents outside. Like they have the shop, they have like the setups where you can do some gaming and stuff. I don't know if this is like a lot bigger because like all I've just seen is that Gala's run FanFest, and all you need is Gala's in the name. You're pulling in people in that way. So, but hopefully they like make it something different what it was at Cologne because at Cologne like you could take it or leave it. Like most people were like lining up just to get like that's where like the signing sessions and stuff were held.
Yeah,
So if they do something different, make it a bit creative, and like we had already seen ESL do the creative stuff, like with the train, like the way that they've been
yeah,
promoting it, and they're gonna. I was talking to one of the guys. There's plenty more to be rolling out, like so.
yeah. Well, I think what's good for them to know is that everything's been sold out, right? Like
Oh yeah,
everything's been sold out for a long time. And obviously the interest is there for them to like keep doing this. So they can take these chances. And they probably have a lot of room to work with, especially with sponsors probably clamoring to really do whatever they need. I think the idea for the Gauls Fan Fest is that they're literally going to do like a giant screen outside of the venue and just be like, hello, everyone, come hang out. Here's just an open pit. Here's some chairs. Maybe there's like an outdoor bar. Like, I don't
yeah. It's
know.
kind of
Like,
like one of those beer gardens that they have in the UK when like the Euros are on or something, where you
yeah.
see like
I mean,
everyone
why
going
not?
crazy. That's pretty sick though,
I
like
think that,
because
yeah, I think that's a great
it,
idea.
it adds something different, like because then
Yeah.
if every event's the same, you're just all in the arena, like struggling to get a seat on the floor. We
Oh,
all know that
God.
problem, so
Yeah. No, I feel it.
um, yeah, no, but
But yeah.
it's
Oh, but
it's
you
set up
brought
to
up
be a
the
pretty
you
big
brought up the
major.
trains. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck with Martin right now. Producer Martin, can we get the trains up there? We have the article. I know we have the article and the images. I also had a tweet of the images of Elige because no one else published those but me, and I was very proud of that one. Um, because I specifically asked Nova to send me the pictures of Elige because I saw it in a YouTube video that we posted in the article, and I was like, I need the image of Elige. I
Give them
need.
to me.
So,
I
but
love
we
it.
have that. No, it looks really cool. So Elise and Twist, they're on the Rio subways along with Zaiwu, Simple, Patsy, Cold Zero, Fallen, and Fur. So having I mean, that's huge and it's crazy.
Yeah.
And we've seen those They do a bunch of those advertisements all the time on the New York subways. So it's kind of cool to be able to see like they're doing something different. They're doing something big, and I think that we need to like be cognizant of that. Like, it's really, really impressive how much these guys, like, how much ESL is really kind of going all out for this event. Yeah, so that's the image with Twist and Cold Zero. You can check out the full article on dust2.us. There is a full YouTube video, but we're not going to play it because I guess we are going to play it. Maybe is this maybe transferable content or transformative, right? We don't want to.
Yeah, we're
Right, we're talking about it, so
we're
it's
providing
transformative,
something for this
right?
video.
I think this was done. This video was taken by a journalist over at the Enemy. Forget his name, which is really bad because I know who it is, and I forget Journo.
Ooh.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. So they cover this. I imagine they've you can cut out the windows probably once this thing is in full motion. There's res. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, we've never really seen anything like this. We know that whatchamacallit, when Vitality did their signing or their re-signing of Zaiwu, like they like lit up like a bunch of like things in the city, and I think maybe for Blast in Paris we'll see some more stuff. Macron really wanted to do it, so yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah. No, it's pretty sick because I think the coolest part about the trains and stuff is if you've been at an event in a big city like Katowice, Cologne, in Copenhagen for like the Blast events, you see esports jerseys everywhere, like
Yeah.
on the plane, on the train, like walking around the streets. So it's gonna be so sick. I hope someone gets a
There's a
shot of like
leash.
all the fans getting off the train in their jerseys, hyped for the major. Like
God, that would
that's gonna be
that would be
such good
so sick.
content. So
That would actually be super, super sick. I like how Simple's at the front of the train. Of course, he's got to be number one. Thanks, Martin, for showing off that one. All right, so I think now that we've seen the trains, now that we've seen that, I think we need to bring up what our picks are going to be. So we're getting the picks all together. We're going to reveal them probably tomorrow or tomorrow's Thursday. God, we got to do that fast. We
yeah.
gotta get this stuff out. So probably tomorrow or Friday we're gonna do a whole breakdown of Dust 2 US's staff picks. Um, I have more NA teams than I think anyone else does in my top picks.
Who would have thought?
I am NA hopium here. I'm going for it all. I fully believe. Martin, if we can try and get these picks up when you can. Yeah, I'm bullying producer Martin today. I'm making it very technically difficult for him. But
I
yeah,
mean,
so
yeah,
I went for some risky picks in some of mine.
you're telling me, yeah.
So I had Vitality 3-0, and then I'm going with Furia 0-0 and EG to pull through. I genuinely think that they go through. I think Imperial make it to 2-2. And
Oh, it's
9Z,
gonna be crushing
I
if they
doubt.
go out at
But
two
this is
two.
it will be crushing when they go out 2-2. They will go out at 2. They will lose like 2-3. It's gonna be really, really sad and it's gonna suck. And I'm gonna be really like upset. But
Do you know what the thing?
I
Do
firmly
you know what the
believe
thing
in
is with
this.
that? I think
What?
is like if Imperial get to 2-2, I don't think that there's many teams that could beat them at that stage. Not because they're not better than them, but like the experience on them. Like people might be like playing down the home crowd advantage. Like I've been in an arena where it was all Danes and Astralis were playing. Like I know how much of a difference that makes, and everyone
Yeah.
saw us last time we were at in the Royal Arena. But I think even without that factor backing them as Brazilians, they still have so much experience on that roster. Like Fallen
Oh, yeah.
for like they've not. It's not just that they've won majors; it's that they've been around the block. They've been doing this for so long, and you could see complexity, like feeling the pressure of that at a 2-2 game. So
No, it could be really interesting. I mean, we can see scenarios where like Furia has to play them at like a 1-1. We could see like EG having to play them again. Like it's just there's a lot of different places and scenarios, and I agree it'll be tough, but I think that it is I don't know. It'll be
I think
interesting.
EG is an interesting call for you because, like, I
I
think
don't. I really don't. I'm really confident in this EG pick. I think everyone is like scared because of what happened at the showdown, but it seems like
nah, not just the showdown. I think like they showed a lot at the Oramore, but it's also the
right.
local competition. Like it is the local competition. It was two best of ones, and then they won their best of three against probably the weaker of the other teams that were there at the 2-0.
Yeah.
Like beat what's in front of you, whatever. But if they come up against the complexity, they probably go 2-1. If they come up against the liquid, they go 2-1, and then like who knows what happens after that with more best of threes. I think at EPL, that's probably the best showing, and they went 2-3, didn't make it through, and like they beat
But
was it Heat in one of the games? Like
no, they weren't
no,
Heat.
not Heat. Who did they beat? They beat. I'm gonna look that up now. But
Thanks for looking it up and putting me on the spot here. I'm thinking of 20 other things.
I
Everyone's
don't
gonna
think it
say that
was.
I'm an idiot.
From what I remember, it wasn't like that impressive.
No, but they got no. It
They
wasn't like
beat Eternal Fire and Movistar. Like
right.
two
Come
teams that didn't
on.
make two teams that didn't make it.
So happens.
So so
It's
like
fine.
I don't know. It just depends on the caliber of competition that they're coming up against. Which
Yeah.
is why I probably wouldn't put them in it because I just don't have that much faith in them to beat like the top teams that are there as well. So
You
maybe
know,
if they get a lucky run like they did at Armor.
I
So
think it's fine. And then 0-0 Nation, I also believe because of the hometown. Like Fury and 0-0, I believe because of the hometown. Like they're gonna play with it on their backs. And also there's no jet lag this time. There is no jet lag.
yeah.
NA is not gonna be jet lagged. We are gonna be fine. It is our time zones. So Martin's gonna pick up yours so we can start to take a peek at yours. So you've got Fury at 3-0. What the that
I
is that a
spent
throwaway pick
I
or
spent hours in the lab making this. You know, me and you talked about this. I was like in the lab.
yeah,
I had the
yeah.
chalkboards up.
Uh-huh.
The numbers are crunched.
Right. You were using like Opta stats and all that
Mm.
shit. Yeah,
Absolutely. This is like the Don
gotcha.
Hachi method. Like I put the hours in for this bitch. Um, but in all seriousness, I think Fury at the moment are kind of the same way that I described EG. It's like they did like people underplayed how they did at the Ormor. Like
they
they went
looked
3. They
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 looked
looked
bad.
they
They
looked
looked
bad.
bad.
They looked bad, but they 2-0 Pain. They clapped Oplano and Infinity. They just lost
Okay.
a best of
So
one against Evil Genius. They lost a best of one in
hold
30 rounds
on,
to Evil
hold
Geniuses.
on, hold on. Your argument as to why EG looked bad at Pro League was that they beat teams that didn't qualify, and now you're saying that Furia looked good because they beat teams that didn't qualify.
No, what I'm saying is, people were saying that Furia did bad at the Ormore. I don't think they did bad. I think they just could have looked a bit more comfortable.
I think they
Like,
under they shouldn't have lost. They shouldn't have
eh,
lost at all.
best of one. I still write them off. Like, but at Pro League, Furia didn't look all that good, and
So
like they haven't been for a while. And like I said it back in Clone, I was like, around the major, if they're not looking good coming into it, that's like where you should be really concerned. I still think that they're the kind of team that could just show up in 3-0. Like I just think that they have that in them. They've been together a lot longer than a team like an Evil Genius is. They're together a lot longer
so
than like
so is that your reasoning for why Evil Geniuses won't go through?
no, my reasoning that Evil Geniuses won't go through is that I'm just not super impressed against their form against top teams. And I
Fair.
think Fury have shown it more in the past. And like I think they're more capable.
Okay. I'll
But
take it.
um in terms of Furia, I think 3-0, like, I don't think they'll go 2-3. Like, I don't think they'll get eliminated at the stage. But I struggle to pick like another 3-0 team that like could go 2-3. It's not like other majors where you could see one like, oh yeah, that's like a guaranteed like 3-0 team or a 2-3
Yeah.
team that could make it. The other picks I had Cloud. I think Cloud9 Vitality are like the two like locked ones for me. I think
Oh
OG
yeah.
or
I think
OG are
OG as well.
OG. I would be shocked if OG don't make it through, and I'd be
I
shocked
don't
if they
think they'll
don't do
go
well in the next
3-0.
stage.
I don't think they'll go 3-0, but I think that they'll like go 3-0. Like they
They,
should have an
they've got the
easier time.
potential to go 3-0, I think.
I don't think
Like,
so.
think about like the story of this org as well. Like, this org has been building into it since like they first came into CS. They're a massive org from Dota. Like, there's
They
a lot of money
no
put
no
into
no
this
no no
project.
no. They Valde and who else left? It was
That's
Valde
what
and
I'm.
Valde, but Valde and someone else left because they were like, we're gonna take these younger players, build them up, and sell them. This wasn't like I think they just fluked their way to the major.
No, they're two fraggers. Like they've been even other
No,
tournaments. They've been building into this.
no, they're good.
I
I
think there's
agree with you. I think they're better
yeah.
than what they thought they would be.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
right,
I
which is kind of my point. I think that they're
I
better
think
than where they thought they would be at.
yeah. I think just the way that they're playing now and the whole thing with the org, like they've missed out on the last two majors. They have a big point to prove at this major.
Yes,
Like
agree.
the amount that's been put into this project and like having it fall flat with the likes of Valda and Alexi B,
Well,
and
especially
now these
after
guys were. I think
paying
Dexter has added so
300,000 for
much.
Dexter. They
Yeah,
paid so much for that guy.
they've got Dexter, Flames, and Nexa. Like
Honestly,
even
that
the
is
other
pretty
two, the
fucking
guys
good.
that like that's a banging trio
Yeah,
with an
Fiku
IGL in
and
the middle.
Neofrag, they're good. They're solid riflers. Like it's
Yeah,
impressive. I thought it was funny when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go with younger players," and then they were like, "Never mind, we're buying Dexter for 300,000 over."
but Dexter's still pretty
like,
young, isn't he?
no, yeah,
He's
he's young.
21. Yeah,
I just think it's funny because
yeah.
it's a two contrasting styles of, oh, we're gonna build the future and we're gonna like try and go cost efficient, and then they
It
boom
reminds me. It
buy
reminds me of
super
like
expensive sniper.
It reminds me of like old phase when they signed Coldzera for like a ridiculous amount, and then
It
they
was
were
like
like,
eight
"Here's
hundred
Brokey
thousand.
from FPL who's never played on a team," and then Brokey
Go
went on to win a
figure it
major.
out, Cold Zero.
And then Brokey
Oh.
went on to win a major, and Coldzera hasn't won one since. Um, no, I love Cold, but yeah, I think the other ones are pretty kind of like I don't
I
know.
don't agree on your outsiders pick, but that's just like 250-50, honestly. Like
Outsiders are gonna go 60 rounds in one game, and they're gonna go through in the best of one. No, like they're just one of those teams that just never die. Like they just refuse to die like all the time.
I
It
mean
was the same with
they're gonna play Mouse in the first round. And honestly, I think Mouse wins that.
yeah, there's a good case for that. I
And I
think
think
best of
it'll
one
just
and
be interesting.
mounts
Here's the
like
thing. An 0-1, you know what's crazy? In an 0-1 matchup, could be Fnatic versus Outsiders
That will be
because
rough.
Fnatic play Cloud9. That is a Cloud9 win, and if results go certain ways, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a weird opening stage. All right, we gotta move on.
Yeah.
We gotta move on. Because we don't have too much time. Talent announcement. We've got a bunch of NA guys, a bunch of returners. Maui Snake returns. We've got Moses is back in the major after missing the last one. And
Hell yeah,
who
we love
else?
Jason here.
Sadakist, Scrawny, Launders, Maui Snake, and then also for the first time, Mahone. Mahone's going to be there, which is great as a
Our
North
boy
American
Mahone.
Canadian, the former analyst for NIP, and he's basically done a bunch of blast events this year. And he did all the good, he's like a great YouTuber and the analyst and stuff like that. And then they were just like, hey, you should probably come do camera work for the major, and that's where we're at. So
He's also been on the Dust 2 US live show, watch along for the last major.
he's a good
The
guy.
last major, the last RMR, yeah.
So friend of the show, Mahone.
Friend of the show. Friend of the boys.
Mahone. And we also have renowned EG hater Kassad is also going to be there. So
I want to see Kassad's pick'ems that he has them in like
honestly, like I was very very harsh on him when he like just kept doing it out of random. But now I want him to do it at the major, and just like every time that he has to like provide analysis for EG, I just want him to just be so mean, just for like no reason. I think like it'd just be very funny. The thing is, he just has to keep it up now at this point, and I think he should just lean into it and make it so much of a caricature of just like, I think evil geniuses punt puppies. They just punt them and they just drop kick baby seals. Like, I don't know, just go ridiculous on this.
It has to be like, if anyone watches like real football, English football, Graham Souness talking about Pogba, everything has to be his fault. There's no there's no in the middle. Everything is his fault, even if he's not on the pitch. If EG are out of the major, I want them to be at fault. But yeah, you should interview him and only ask him about EG to just confuse the hell out of him.
I would hate that and love that at the same time. All right. So I guess any major storylines for the RMR is got to be Fallen, number one. He's done the interview. You did interviews. Was it you or David that did the interview?
It was me. Yeah, the picture's up on HLTV, man. It's like my Twitter header at this point.
You know what? You and David, rest his soul, now sold to HLTV. Rest in pieces.
Oh boy.
Listen, I think that the interview was good. The Fallen interview, and everyone should go check it out. We tweeted about it earlier today. Basically, it was like Fallen admitted, like he's like, I'm gonna retire, and next year, at the end of next year, is probably it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be probably his. And I don't think we have events scheduled for Brazil. I think this is his only big and his last major event in Brazil in front of a hometown crowd. So that's obviously a big storyline. Can he get out of challengers? Imperial looked very shaky. Had to go. They were very much down and had to go to the last map. They should not have beat Complexity, but their experience and Cello playing out of his fucking mind, like, got them in here. So they got lucky. They're in here. Last year, people said the same thing, that they were washed, that they were bad. I said it as well, and I will continue to say this every time I bring them up. And I apologize at the time for how bad and harsh I was about that team, because they are better than what I thought they looked like.
Can you guess who's going to Brazil next week?
Please don't hurt me. No, but like, can they prove it out? Can they qualify out of this? They are getting very close, and they seem to have a resilience. Can they get the Brazilian crowd behind them? And I think that's a major storyline that we should definitely look out for.
Yeah. 100%.
What about you? Like, what other storylines are you looking at for this major?
My big one in terms of NA teams is if Cirque has to show up this event. If he doesn't show up this event, he should be gone after the event. It's like I really like Cirque. Like, I got to chat to him, super nice guy. I just think like he performs so well in these RMRs, the qualifiers back at home, the showdowns or whatever when it's against NA teams, and then he goes to something like Pro League and he just just falls apart. And it's been happening for like 2 years now, and it like, if EG, like, we've seen the potential. Like, they put up a good fight at Pro League, they went 3-0 at the RMR, but like, if you really want to push on, the guy who is spending the most money on a gun for every round cannot be your dead weight. And like
Yeah.
if you want to go read the EU players coming to NA, I had him as the most impactful one of all time. I fully rated Cirque.
Yeah.
It's just I think if you want this team to be really competitive moving forward, this has to be his event where he does turn it around against international competition on a big stage.
I hate to agree with you on this. I think you're right. I think the time is kind of coming up on Cirque here. I think for Breeze, he's shown more. He was kind of in a similar boat, but he's also now improved it. And I think unless Breeze just capitulates, like he's also like Breeze is also on this rise up. Like, okay, Breeze can actually like we're back. Like he's in a good system. It's working out well. Um, so I think those two players are obviously the most scrutinized ones here, and we're kind of getting back up to that level now of like, hey, can they prove it? Can they do it? Um,
Yeah.
I think I think the other storyline here is going to be the boost of Brazil for the Brazilian teams. Is it going to factor in? How much is it going to factor in? Like it's going to be a crazy hostile environment. And I mean, and I know everyone does a lot of like, oh, Brazil is very dangerous, and know that they're going to get shanked. But like, it's the crowd is going to boo
Oh
you
yeah.
if you're not a Brazilian team. They're going to. They are going to be hostile. They will boo you. They will hiss. They are going to be loud. They are going to be crazy. Every kill that a Brazilian team does, they are going to lose their fucking minds. This is the environment that they're in. And I don't think that a lot of people and a lot of teams are taking that into account. It's going to be more than what any other Danish like audience has ever been in the history of this sport.
Yeah, if you want to go one step further, I think even some of the Brazilian teams, if they come up against an Imperial, they're getting booed. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think it's gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
like it's Heroic Astralis. Heroic got booed out of the building. Like these guys are the heroes. These are the ones that they came to see. Like whether
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
performing at a top level or not, like they're still the names. Like so, yeah. I think it is gonna play a factor. It's like some people are playing it down, some people are overhyping it, but like it's going to be there. Like it's gonna have some effect. But whether it's a lot, whether it's a little, I'm not too sure yet because I haven't actually seen the setup. Like I know we've seen like the concept shots of like the first stages, but like I don't know. Like we've seen like the quarterfinal day at a major like in Antwerp, and like half the place is empty.
Yeah.
Like people buy tickets, but some people just don't have the time and actually don't show up. So whether are they gonna pack it out every single day for 2 weeks?
I
I don't know.
I think they are. I
Do
think
you
it's
think?
gonna be, and I think that there are gonna be people that fake to try and get in. So, no, it'll be crazy, and I'm excited to share it all on the Dust 2 Twitter and on my own personal Twitter. And I've got to figure out how I'm getting access to our Dust 2 Instagram and start posting stuff on there. And let's get that going. All right, let's move on to Philadelphia stuff. Nurse Street. Major news kind of coming out last night. We had Steve and Ed. For those that are unaware, Steve and Ed were basically co-founders of Philadelphia. Once Philadelphia was brought under the Nerd Street umbrella in the last few years, they were hired on by Nerd Street. And last night they posted tweets basically saying, "We're out, we're leaving." I don't think anyone really expected it. I think it's kind of a shock. And we had a statement that the CEO of Nerd Street he provided us where he basically was like, "Hey, we share the same vision for amateur sports. We had a difference of opinion on how to get there. Clearly there was the statement basically read as though that there were tensions between the two parties, and that's why there's the split
Yeah.
happening. But he says that we're hoping to work together." And they're going to continue collaborating on producing Philadelphia, and it's going to continue as is with both Steve and Ed there. So while I guess that they were leaving Nerd Street in their capacity, the hope is that they're going to work there. Um, Unfortunately, Liam, you're not really a big NA guy. You kind of
Uh,
learned it from us, but
yeah,
like the
I've got
importance
my,
of like what Frag
no, like,
is.
yeah, no, I think the thing is like even if you don't know the two guys, when you see two figures that have been there for so long, and like, excuse me, like first frag was in what, like 2014.
I
That's
can't
like
even remember. Yeah,
I had to look it up. It was 2014. That's 8 years ago. Like how long have and like how far that has come since then. Like the
and
first one,
Steve
like
paid out of his own pocket.
on
Steve
on
would lose
Liquid
money
on
every time.
on Liquipedia, like the first two frags don't have a prize pool, and then the third one was like a grand. And now we have 100 grand tournament that major winners are coming overseas to play in. Like it's insane to see what they built, and whenever you see like you don't really see much of that in terms of like a big tournament organizer, like where someone like a co-founder leaves just kind of like out of the blue. Like it doesn't like you don't see the behind the scenes of it like building to him like whatever
Right.
tension it was or like whatever went on. Um, but like just seeing those tweets, it kind of like caught me off guard when I seen them in the Discord. I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy that both of them are leaving in
Yeah.
whatever capacity that they are in. Because
Yeah.
like that's
I think
they're
they're
two
like
big figures to lose.
senior.
Like
They're like senior tournament operators. Like they're people
yeah,
that have been working with NSG to really like help produce their tournaments and competitive atmosphere. So I think we'll hear more news soon. I think it kind of just shows that like unfortunately they seem to get pushed out a little bit. Clearly, with the
which is a shame
differences,
to
if
see. Yeah,
it is a shame to see, but like if your boss has one vision and you're the underling and you're like, no, we should do this. Like we know at the end of the day who's winning that argument. Like,
yeah.
so
But it's just a
it's
shame to see like that they've been there since the start, and if that's the way
yeah.
that it did go, it's like yeah, because like as much as hard as it is for like the person that's above you in like the chain of command, it's like I've been here since the start. I've done so much. Like I've built this up, and then see it go a different way is kind of disappointing, I guess. So.
I mean, I can't like
Oh yeah, yeah. Can't,
that's
like, but if that's the
it's
way that
hard.
it's gone, like, yeah,
It's tough. So obviously that is a huge sadness, and we'll look forward to seeing what they do in the future, and obviously
100%
hope
hope
that
they
they
stay in
stick
the scene.
around. Yeah, no, it'll be good. I hope they are. I think they are. Pretty sure. All right, Blast Showdown. So big event. We'll talk about this shortly because we don't really care since NA teams got eliminated early. Hate that. That sucked. Complexity and EG first rounded. I don't really know what to say. I think I just the complexity loss was bad. The
Yeah,
EG one was probably worse. Losing to Fluxo is probably worse.
fully disagree. EG have the major to look forward to. Complexity have nothing at the moment. Like, e- EG, like, I think they lost like, I think they lost every pistol except for one in like a 3 map series, and I was like, they're saving strats. They know what they're doing. But like, I don't think. I think it would have been much easier for Complexity to coast through a game against Sharks than Evil
Yeah.
Geniuses to coast through a game against Fluxo because like that Lucaso guy, like he was playing out of his
Dude,
mind
he's
that game.
nuts.
He was
He's
insane. Like
nuts.
VSM, who was like the most like hyped up player coming back into the scene, like he like completely underperformed and they still got through it. Like even
Yeah.
Phelps is like showing up and like I haven't seen him show up in a way like that in a while.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I fully disagree. I think Complexity needed this so much more than Evil Geniuses did. Like with the fact how close the major is, and like it's just super disappointing not to see Complexity in like a bigger capacity towards the end of
Yeah.
the season. Because like I talked to Graham about it in Sweden. It's just like it's the major blast, and then you're done. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
It's
So
a tough end of the season, and then you have Katowice coming up. I think in like January, like late January. So it's
yeah,
like you get to the holidays, you get to the new year, and then it's like okay, season starts again. Like let's get this shit
especially
done.
since they had like a new roster change as well. Like they didn't really kind of get
Yeah.
to build into the season. They just had the change, showed early signs, and then gone.
Yeah. So that's obviously really really tough. I think with the new change in the summer break schedule, it might be better. There might be more events.
Yeah,
So like we'll see how those kinds of events happen, and we'll see if they're able to like have these more changes and have that more time. I don't foresee Complexity making any changes. I'd be like super doubtful.
that'd be
It would
insane.
be weird to me unless like some player came on the market that would give them such an upgrade. But I don't see any player coming onto the market. Like I really like unless Twist all of a sudden is like, I want to come back to North America. Like I just don't. I don't see who they're upgrading. I don't see why they would. But yeah, so 0-0. So Fluxo won it all. So they're going to head over to Copenhagen, which is going to be cool for them, especially after they missed out on the major and they even missed out on the RMR. But 0-0 Nation as well and MIBR as well didn't do so hot. And I think is it time to start getting worried about MIBR? Like, are they roundhouse kick NA ECL every time, and then they just what? They're just there. Like, are they just like are they just a perennial like too good for ECL? Like the ECL plus, like they're too good there, but not good enough for pro. Like
Yeah,
that weird middle ground.
they're starting to fall into the same category I find that Pain are in. Like Pain, just like you said, roundhouse kick ECL. when they were playing there, and then they go over to Europe, and then they just get bitch slapped. So, I don't know what to think of MIBR because like I really thought that they would have put in a better showing at the Ormore as well, and like for them to miss out on a tournament like Blast over a team like Fluxo that have just kind of been put together, like just got the new banner now, and I don't think many people fully rate Fluxo. Like they didn't even make the Ormore from the South American
No.
side,
Well, they
so
didn't make it from the South American side, but people thought they should. Like to be
they
fair,
probably should. Yeah.
the South American Armor was pretty fucking tough, and if they
Oh
came
yeah.
to NA, they 100% would have played in it.
Yeah, I guess so. I just think like when I was looking at the team lists, Fluxo were not the team that I kind of expected to go through from this side.
No,
Like
not
they
at
would have
all.
been probably like fifth maybe on my list.
Yeah,
Like I would even had like team one to be Fluxo, but like
yeah.
probably like that's a close series.
It is that
Um,
I won't lie, that is a pretty close series.
yeah. No, with MIBR, see the thing is I don't know what change you make
Yeah,
because like
it's
it just
tough.
doesn't like there's no real like open like this is the obvious change to make in the Brazilian scene. Swap these two players, they go straight in like
We
it
also
works
don't
out.
know the Brazilian scene as well,
No,
which
definitely
hurts
not.
our assumptions of these. Like we could tell you about North America, but we couldn't tell you about them.
Give them Pone alone.
30-year-old talent, Podolo, baby.
I love Pone.
Ah.
But
All
yeah,
right. God. Okay. So that's that
that's
on
Brazil.
Blast. That's Brazil and that's Blast. ECL and advanced. So those seasons have concluded, and by God, have the seasons begun already again. It was a week long break. Um, we couldn't get any preseason stuff out. We had no time to do anything. Like we're all focused on the major. We're all reeling from other big events. Like just trying to get some downtime. And they're
Just let
like,
us
"Hey,
breathe.
like that's what it is now. We have no time to breathe. I give you fuckers zero time to breathe. All we do every single day is got to do a new preview. Some other events happening. It's got 2 American teams, baby. So you know we got to cover.
Yeah, no,
It's like
it's insane. Like I didn't even fully realize that the season had started until like I seen
no.
some. It's like you see like one person like post on Twitter about how their open team are now 1-0. It's like oh we're progressing so well, and then I'm like wait, ESEA started? It's like what the like, what's going on here?
It was. I think it's even worse for me because I think I realized that the season was starting when I saw a tweet come out from like one of the Nouns players or something, and it was just like, "Hey, we're playing today," and I was like, "The fuck do you mean we're playing today? What do you mean the season is starting today?" And like,
Yeah.
thank God that I have competent writers like Anjalo who's going ahead and he's like, "Yeah, I already did the preview. Here's the groups. We already wrote an article." I'm like, thank you. At least someone at this company knows what
Gonchalo is
they're
a
doing.
blessing, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, like that's kind of like I find it kind of unusual how fast ECL started because normally like they
yeah,
kind of
it
like push their
shouldn't have
games out a
been.
bit long. They push their games out a little bit. Like you see Advance like going to like maybe 3 or 4 games before you kind of see ECL kind of get into it. But now they've had the first games, Nouns, Mythic, and Snakes Den carry. Like they've had
Yeah.
one from each group now.
No,
Um,
and yeah, I'm excited to see how these end up. I think that these are going to be some pretty good games, and I think Noun should once again get to the top. ATK obviously winning the last season, they're headed to ESL Pro League conference. Um,
yeah,
we have to say
big shout
that
out to them.
Pro League conference. Did they
Yeah,
make it to pro? Did they make it to Pro League? Technically, it's the conference part that they made.
I mean,
Um,
technically, you could say you made a major by making it to an or more, but
you know,
it depends what you quantify as that tournament. So
some creative liberties. There was a little friction within the newsroom as well over what we should say. I said doing just DSL Pro League was probably not the move.
bit of a stretch.
Felt like a bit of a stretch. Honestly, I could see it both ways. We've done worse, but it felt like a bit of a stretch on that
Hey,
one.
look, if they go win conference, you can say pro league
Yo,
all you want. Then.
when they go win conference, I expect us to like shoot off fireworks here and be like, ATK is literally the greatest team ever. All of you losers have no idea what you're talking.
uh, I'm really
So
happy for the ATK guys though. I think they put in a real good shift at Thormore. Like you could see their progress, and they were so disappointed not to make it because I think they really thought that they had it in them to get through that stage. So now
yeah,
that they get another chance to go over and compete in a tournament like conference where they're going to have like pretty good competition at it, like that's going to be a big boost for them.
yeah. But it was weird because we had also in the towards the playoffs of some of these teams, Brazen, which was one of the teams in playoffs, literally died. Like they were dead before like they really played their playoff game. It was like, yeah, kids are going back to college. They're not actually gonna like. They played the game. They knew they were gonna lose and break up, and that's instantly like it just instantly happened. They lost and just go like they finished 7th, 8th, and they're like, kids are after LFT, and I'm like, you made playoffs. Like, what are we doing here? It's the one part of NA that kills me is that like you can make playoffs in ECL, you could be close, and they're just like, we're done. Fuck it.
Kids are going back to college. This never would have happened on Koi. This would never would have happened on Koi's watch.
The only other disappointing one I would say is EG Black finishing 5th, 6th out of the top 4. Definitely an underperformance from them. I think the team is it's weird because you have solid players on this team. Wiz is, who is like the best player in all of ECL last season. Just like he's stuck there, and you have Stanislaw and Rush, who should be these pros that are bullying the shit out of everyone else to guide you to a win, and they're not getting it. And that's a little bit of a letdown, in all honesty.
Yeah, it's weird to see like how they kind of stagnated since losing the other 2 young guys that have like, you think that adding more experience to a young core trio, like the way that say 0 Nation did, for example, like it's just gonna all mesh together perfectly and it's gonna work out. But it just seems that they've kind of stagnated, and I don't know what's going on over there, honestly.
So quick update about the ECL, thanks to producer Martin. He's saying that this upcoming season will basically there will also be another spot, another conference spot. So there'll be 3 conference spots.
Oh.
So 3 teams are going to go to conference, and from NA thing. So you're it's gonna be like a lot of teams, which is bigger and better than what it was last time, because I think the last one went to the next season of conference. So it's like this is going to go to season 17. So you'll have 3 conferences. You'll have 3 conference spots. 3 NA teams go to 3 season 17 Pro League conference events. So they have more chances to try and actually get into Pro League. So cool.
Hell yeah, give us more teams.
Hell yeah. Fucking love that shit. But I think that's for everyone. I think it's also for Europe. So
nah, let's just leave it. Let's just leave it.
Let's just leave it. Like they finally cared about North
Give us
America.
another spot, yeah.
Yeah. Disappointing for Nouns though. Nouns, who were actually fairly close to making it into the major potentially. They went 1-3. George Snorts, not surprisingly, he was at the top of the list. But what I think was the issue here is that they made the change so late. You had Carson coming in just before playoffs in the removal of Jazz Pimp. So that probably could have caused some of the issues there. Carson finished bottom of the leaderboard. He did not really have a good game. His rating was 0.86. I think that's hard
to note that it was technically a 3-0 as well, because Nouns had the
it
bracket.
Was.
Yeah.
That's even worse. That's real. I forgot about that. That's bad.
Yeah, I think it's a real back and forth between Nouns and ETK, so I'm kind of surprised that like it really wasn't that competitive a series.
It was 16-5 on Inferno, 16-14 on Mirage, and 16-11 on Vertigo. Like,
but still, yeah, if it's best of 5 and you have a 1 map advantage and you're not winning a map, that's kind of you really haven't shown up in that series then.
Yeah. So that's definitely disappointing, and I think the roster change probably had a lot to do with that, unfortunately.
True.
So maybe we'll see them run it back in this next season, and they can get their conference spot then, and then they can go have their shot. Right? No harm, no foul on that one. But definitely doesn't bode well in terms of confidence, I think, headed up into this. Because I know that they were confident that they were going to win on this one.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got on my thing here? Oh, the B-Hop drama. Jesus. God, we didn't talk about this.
Do you want to tell the podcast what you have listed on our document for this?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. So I basically just put the 2 links to the articles that we wrote, and then I just go as like the sub thing. I just go LMAO in all caps, and then I just go just LMAO. Like it's
that's it. What else can you say?
So for anyone that is not aware, what we had here was we're all innocently doing whatever, and then I see on my tweet deck I get added by B-Hop Esports. They added me, and they were like an apology to Beaky and Brett, and it was basically like, we're so sorry that you guys were treated this way. They were like, holy shit, We cannot believe that you were cut from the team. This is so crazy. What the hell? You're going to be enshrined on our Hall of Fame on our website. We cannot believe players like you were treated like this. Because, I mean, honestly, we wrote an article because we were like, this is crazy that these guys got cut. And it wasn't so much that they got cut, but it was like they both made twit longers. You had like 5 pros like quote tweeting it, being like, this is crazy. And like everyone's talking about it. So we wrote an article that was like, this is controversial because there was controversy. And then we got, hey, this actually wasn't controversial at all, you idiots. Which, like,
yeah, idiots.
I don't know how, like, it was controversial because of the community. It wasn't controversial because we know what the decision was. So then that's when the B-Hop owner is like, oh, he found out on Twitter. He basically learned on Twitter that that's what he claims. That's what he claims. He claimed that he learned on Twitter that that's how the players got cut. And after that,
this just gives me serious flashbacks to the Timberman thing with the general
oh
managers. Like they went rogue.
Literally. So they get cut on that. And then everyone's like, are you kidding me? This is not what happened. Why the fuck? Why would you lie about this? So Schwan and the other guys are like, well, this is not true at all. They produced the screenshots and they're like, we told you when that we were going to cut them. And basically the response was, sure, okay. And it was a dumb back and forth of like, well, your contract's really ended at the end of the season. Here, there. And like, basically, no one won in this situation. Schwan and the guys were like probably right about how it all went down. Like they did probably tell the owner. The guy probably just was like, he probably just didn't understand what was happening or he forgot about it because that's what every other small bedroom org owner is. Like they have real life obligations.
He just texted back. He's like, IDK actually.
Love it. Great.
We need to tie in all. We need to tie in all the stupid shit that goes on in the scene.
I can't wait. We're gonna do like an end of year report, and it's gonna be like the dumbest controversies of 2022 ranked, and it's just gonna be like Danny getting drunk mid game against MIBR. IDK actually.
I love this.
Timmerman signed for less than 2 hours.
Oh,
like it's either a podcast or we're just ranking an article and just being like, this is the dumbest shit that could happen.
They saw that Ryan Friend was going to be the editor-in-chief. They're like, he wants content? We'll give him fucking content.
So anyways, the basically Schwan was like, the B-Hop owner is an idiot. This is not what happened at all. And I was thinking that the B-Hop owner was going to respond. And I think we made the decision in the newsroom. I was like, we're not covering this anymore. We're just not doing it.
Just cut all ties.
We're just washing hands. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. It just is so miserable sometimes.
Oh man.
So that's your ESL. That's your ESL stuff here.
That's your NA breakdown.
That's your NA breakdown. We've talked some good stuff about Brazil. I'll give you some we're gonna wrap up as we approach our hour here. I'm gonna give a few thoughts about Brazil. I'm very, very excited for Brazilian barbecue steakhouse. I'm excited to figure out what food I'm gonna eat because in Antwerp, we got fast food all day and it was awful and I hated it.
So and there was one time that we ordered fast food and we didn't get the fast food.
Didn't get fast food. We didn't get it.
Someone stole it.
Someone stole it, ordered pizzas. It was awful. So not a great time. I had Five Guys, I think twice when we were in Antwerp. Like I went all the way across the ocean to get Five Guys. It was bad. So I'm hoping that we can get some good stuff down in Brazil. I'm hoping for some brilliant steakhouses, some barbecue. I don't know if they've got sandwiches. I don't know what they have. I'm excited to figure out the cuisine there. I got a 10-hour flight. Lucas and I hope I got him a window seat. I can't remember when I was making the booking what I have for him. I know I had to get
middle
like a seat.
Middle seat. I
thought about it. I thought about putting us next to each other and I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Someone's going to be pissed, yeah.
I'm going to be like, someone's going to be mad. No one wants to sit in a middle seat. I'm just going to give him. So I think I did. I'll have to check the booking, but I think I got him a window seat. And yeah, and we're leaving. It's an overnight flight. We leave at like 10 o'clock at night, and we get there at like 8 a.m. in the morning. So it's gonna be brutal.
I think it's pretty good that you have Hockey and the Brazilian guys that are going to be over there. Like at least you have them to
Yeah,
like show
yeah.
you around. You need someone local to have to show you
Yes,
around.
I
Like
think
when we were in Sweden, we had Steph. Steph was our guide,
there you
the
go.
photographer with ESL. She was showing us everything. She showed us her childhood IKEA, which was ironically across the road from our hotel.
I'm sorry, childhood IKEA.
When she said it, she paused and she was like, "That's the most Swedish thing I could possibly say."
I don't think I have. I don't think of a department store as a
Childhood Walmart?
childhood anything. No, a childhood Walmart.
Yeah, surely you have a childhood Walmart.
No. Oh
Ugh.
my god, that's terrible. No, but it'll be good. We have all the cool equipment. I'll show. I mean, all the people that are probably out there, but we picked up some cool stuff. So it's these. I was showing the mics. So it's these mics, which are really cool.
Oh
So these
yeah.
are the wireless mics. So and I'll say it right now. Oh, and also quick late apology to everyone that came on expecting Yakinder. Yakinder misunderstood the time of when I wanted him because I said after blast, and he went, yeah, after the blast that I go to is when
Yeah.
it, and I meant no, after the blast showdown. And that's where our wires got crossed. But he is going to come on after actual blast, so we will do something there. But yeah, so we got these wireless mics. We have the two of them here, and we're going to use them for when Lucas and I do a live show down in Brazil. We're going to try and do one when we're there. It'll be super cool. We can both hold these mics. It'll be very fun because we're going to have both of our laptops open because we're going to use like one webcam. We'll be like right next to each other, but he'll
Nah,
have
that's
his
cute.
like he'll need to do like his will be off camera, but he'll have to use the audio with like AirPods or something, and I'll be on audio and I'll have to use my AirPods or whatever. Like we need the two that thing. So that'll be fun to try and figure the fuck out. And yeah, it'll be cool stuff. We've got iPhone stands coming in with like the phone mounts, and I found out my phone can do 4K, so we'll set up there. So we're gonna
Hell
do a
yeah.
lot of. I'll figure out photo editing. We also have new graphics coming in, which I've got to learn how to do the graphics on. That Dylan's gonna teach me on Figma. There's just a lot of stuff that I have to do in the next like 48 hours before I die. And go
You're
to
like a
Brazil.
tech nerd waking up on Christmas. The
Dude,
way you're
honestly,
talking about everything.
could not tell you how pumped I was when I walked out of that B&H photo, being like, "Fucking got everything." I come
Hell
home,
yeah.
I show the girlfriend. I'm like, "Look at the toys. Look at my new toys." And she's just like, "Okay, can you please make dinner?" I was like, "Yeah." Liam, what are you most looking forward to out of this major? Now that we're wrapping up here.
Um, it's the first major, and like since I was in Antwerp for the playoffs, I was there in the stadium and stuff. I'm excited to like just sit at home and like get super excited shouting at my TV again because like I had a bit of that for Pro League when I was watching Complexity.
Yeah.
And the last time I felt like that with Counter Strike was at the 2018 Katowice, I think, or 2019. I think
Okay. Wow.
whenever it was that ENCE made their crazy run to the finals,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I was like jumping up and down, I was going crazy. I'm excited to like watch Counter Strike again. Like
There you
every time
go.
the major comes around, I get like a sudden burst of I want to watch every single game that's on. Like because like when we had like the way that we do things, like it makes it hard to kind of like watch every
Yeah.
game, especially when you're like recapping. You have to write about like every round. You're like, God, this can get tedious. But like
Yeah.
when the major comes around, it brings something special out about Counter Strike, and you see kind of
Yeah.
like the best of the community, I think, at that time. So I'm
Well,
just excited to have another major again.
yeah,
I
well, it
love
will
it.
be fun when I do make everyone do all of the recaps for all the
God, I
Brazilian
hate
and NA.
recaps.
You're assigned just to one match. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna figure
Give me
out
all
the
the BO
schedule.
ones.
Oh my god, it'll be good. We're gonna it will be BO1s. That's only gonna be the real problem. The
Hell yeah.
BO3s. I Here's the thing. I think it's worse honestly for BO3s in the arena because you're waiting constantly and you have to read it. You have to make sure you're all set up. You have to know who you're going to talk about. And then as you do your notes, if they deny you or if someone else
Oh
gets
yeah,
them first, you have to change it up on the fly. And that
bro.
is tough shit. That
I
is
I, wr-
really tough shit.
I wrote like 5 different Nico interviews in Cologne. He wouldn't talk to me
I
at all.
remember that. I remember that. You
I was like, just let me talk to
messaged
Nico. I was like getting held back by security. I had my mic. I was leaning over. I was like, "Let me talk. Let me talk." Oh,
It'll be a tough
but
one. That's gonna be me with Fallen, and he's not gonna talk to me until like he qualifies or he sees me like break my arm or something. He's gonna be like, "All right, now I'll talk to you."
I heard Taco's excited to talk to you.
Yeah, listen, I think my jokes back in the day probably got out of hand, and I would like to bury the hatchet with Taco, but
Oh yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. I
Bring
like
him on
him.
the podcast.
Listen, everyone knows that I'm a jokester. Everyone knows that I make fun of Brazilians, and I expect them to make fun of NA. That's the brand.
It's the same with France as well. Like
I'll see
France
him
deserves
everywhere.
it probably a bit more.
Yeah, I think the majors are going to be good. All right. Well, with that, I think we're going to end it here. Liam, thanks for being a guest on here. I will see you in the Discord constantly when I yell at you to do my articles.
We're on like episode like 10 now. I'm a co-host.
It's episode 8. Episode
8, and I've been on 7. If I'm not a co-host by now, I never will be.
You've always been a co-host.
Always been the co-host.
Always been the co-host. Anyways, Liam Slevin at SlevoCS. I'm Brian Friend for Brian at Dust2. Make sure that you check out the website dust2.us for all of our extended coverage that we will have at Rio de Janeiro, where it will be me and Lucas DeWitt providing all the coverage and interviews. We're going to do so many video interviews. It's going to make your head spin. I didn't buy all this shit for the video interviews not to do well. So we're going to really do that well. And so you check out the YouTube. We're going to do live streams on the Twitch as well. We're basically doing content at the wazoo. And once I get access into the Instagram, like, boy, am I going to be doing
it's
lots
over
of
for
fun
y'all.
stuff. It's going to be fantastic. All right. And with that, we will see you guys next time. I'll see any of you guys that's watching the stream. I'll be in Brazil and learning Portuguese.
Come to Brazil.
Come to Brazil. All right. See you guys. And thank you guys so much.